Hey everybody, it's Kathy Hester. Welcome to my kitchen, and I hope you're having a lovely Sunday. I decided today it's the perfect day for brunch. What do you think? No matter what's going on around us, we're at home, we have some lovely food. On the video, this video, it'll either be to the top or to the side when you click on it. I have some links for you if you want to get a discount on Misfit Market produce that's delivered to your house. And if I don't have it already, I'm going to put something up for an Instant Cart 14-day free trial because I know a lot of you are concerned about getting food to your house during these trying times. Oh, wow, people are already chatting. Let me move my computer over. Obviously, you get to see me in my exciting non-perfect kitchen and non-perfect state. So if you ever weren't sure if you got to see me for real, here I am. Cindy says, love my inspirational vegan videos. Thank you. That means a lot to me. And it makes the switch over easier for her, and she loves my transparency. I always say my transparency is that I make mistakes, and so does everyone else. So there's no reason for anybody to think somebody's perfect. Brandy says, good morning. It's cold but sunny outside, and I'm always glad to have Brandy. She is a huge help to me and the whole vegan community, and plant-based community. So many thanks to Brandy. Today, you can kind of see outside. I know I have all these lights shining over there, so it might look sunnier than it is. That big light part is actually lights that are coming in, so you can see what I'm going to do. Woo! But it's a little cooler. I think it's in the 50s. The house is closed up. It's a little bit of gray, kind of. I actually like gray rainy days. When I lived in Arizona for a year, I felt like this enforced happiness because it was sunny all the time. But I also think with everything that's going on, I will say to you, I'm a little extra stressed out too, even though my life has not really been disrupted, hardly at all. Some things that I was going to do, some blogger conferences I was going to speak at are kind of up in the air. But mostly I teach cooking classes out of my house, and I write cookbooks in my house. I do have Cheryl, and Cheryl has the dog downstairs so that we can do this in peace, and also she knows brunch will magically appear, so that's also a good thing. So what we did yesterday, and if you haven't seen that, I'll try and come back and add a link to that, yesterday's live, is we made this cruciferous crunch. Like, it's kind of like Trader Joe's, only not. I made mine small. I used the small grating blade because when I buy Trader Joe's cruciferous crunch, I chop it up. If you have picky eaters, it's so much easier to chop up the things, and then they don't know what a cabbage is from a Brussels sprout, from whatever, and so they get to taste it without their preconceived notions, like going, I hate that. So that's one of the reasons I do that. Also, Cheryl has gotten herself completely addicted to kava bowls, not kava, the champagne, alcohol, which are these bowls that have like brown rice and lentils. It's a place that you go to, and she picks falafel, lots of vegan options, hummus. And she doesn't usually get the greens there, but we've been making them at home. And so this is working really well. So we're getting a lot of vegetables in her and not going out, which I would prefer us to eat at home a little bit more for many reasons right now, one of which is to save money. And hi, Miss Anita. It's so good to see you. And Christine. So what I talked about yesterday was how I made some tofu scramble with this. So I'm going to do that and show you how I can make that into tacos. I don't know if the microphone lets you hear the air fryer in the background or not. And what's happening there is I've cut up some potatoes, and I'm roasting them with a little bit of smoked paprika, a tiny bit of salt, and some homemade chili powder, which is just dried chilies. I've really dehydrated and then ground. And Anita's asking a list of what goes into cruciferous crunch. And Anita, I'll put the list of the video up, but it's like, in here I don't have the kale, which reminds me, I'll put Okay. I chopped up the kale separately because my kale is a little more on the edge. But so it usually has kale, Brussels sprouts, red cabbage, green cabbage. I said Brussels sprouts already. I think it has carrots. I always put carrots in it. So, and again, I'll put a link to that. So I do all this grating through a food processor, and it's not a whole lot of effort. Now, what I do have today is some super farm tofu, and let me show you what that looks like in a package, or the package of. I get this at Trader Joe's. You can get it at other places. It's a little bit cheaper. The high protein super firm costs a little bit more, but it also weighs more, just the tofu itself, not the tofu and the water. And let me give you an overhead. I'm just going to crumble this up really quick. And I want you to see just how thick it is, just as it is, right? So I can do that, and it's not smushing, it's just crumbling. So I like to get this for many reasons. The biggest reason is I'm lazy. I like to be able to do what I want when I want, like a cat. I identify heavily with cats. And what happens is I don't have to press it, not even for a short time, and I can make anything I want. Now, I would also, if you have firm tofu, I would do this too. And what I do is I don't necessarily feel the need to press it to make a tofu scramble, because I will cook the water out in the pan. That's another thing that you can do. Okay, so I'm getting this stuff in here. And if you're looking to make any kind of copycat, like there's like kale, Brussels slaw, or oh, there's broccoli. There's broccoli in here too, broccoli stems. You can look on whatever's in there. You can make your own broccoli slaw. And when you're talking about broccoli, you just want to get the longer ones that have stem. Okay. Ooh, do you guys ever feel like you're out playing in the snow when you do this? This is so cold. So, what's that song? Oh, anybody can sing the Frozen song at home? Anybody got kids that want to sing the Frozen song? Sing along now. No, I don't know it. And I'm really sorry if I've started your day off really badly and now your kids are singing that song to you. Let me rinse this off real quick and kind of warm up my hand a little bit. You could use a masher too, right? I just like it the way I like it. So, and Brandy said there's a lot of water in the tofu from Costco. And yes, you do need to press it. And it just depends on what you're doing. For scramble, I'm okay with cooking the water out on the fly as an option. I'm not saying that is the absolute best option. One thing too, before we get started. So I told you I was doing some potatoes, right? So I want, if we stay in more and more, we're going to see some of our potatoes starting to sprout. So these are a lot of the sprouts that I cut out of the potatoes. And there were a couple I deemed just not good enough. And one, this looks like it has a lot more green on it, and I did not want to peel it. This had a bad spot on it. So why am I showing you these things that I'm going to throw away? Because I'm not throwing them away. So I have some planters outside, and what I do a lot of times is I plant these underneath it, and these beautiful potato vines grow. Now, I'm not doing it to make the potatoes, though you could do that as well, from what I understand, but it does make a beautiful, free, ornamental, flowing plant that's an annual, which means it only lasts this year, but you're going to have a bazillion more potatoes. So there. That's what I have to say. Yeah, I want to build a snowman. Brandy, next time we'll have to do this on Zoom so we can cut to you and you can sing, "Want to Build a Snowman." Okay. And if you guys want to tell me how you're doing, are you guys with family? Are you alone? Are you feeling stressed out or anxious? That's okay to talk about here. I mean, I just sent out a big newsletter, and so I put in some things that we can do for free that are super cool right from home, like we can watch the Metropolitan Opera in the evenings next week. We can visit virtual museums, the Seattle Symphony, and I'm sure many, many other orchestras have things on YouTube. So there's all these new experiences that we can have right in our home, as well as watching our favorite Netflix cues, right? I also tried to put in some ideas for cooking and some ideas for getting food delivered to you, because I do that a lot, because if I'm cooking, it's nice to have someone deliver something to me. And so I'm giving you basically information and codes on the things that I use all the time. Oh, and Anita said after this she's going to the farmer's market. I think the farmer's market just ended or is about to end where I am. And I would love to know if it was crazy there or not. I have no idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some tofu in a pan. And you knew that was coming, didn't you? Press start. And as we all know, I have a love-hate relationship with my induction burner. But let's make sure it's where you guys can see it too. Okay. So I'm not going to put in any oil, and I am first just going to kind of brown the tofu. You could mix the tofu with all these spices ahead of time. I, my friend, again, am lazy. And see, there's a couple of pieces of tofu that's not squinched up just the way I want it. But you know what? I'm not winning a prize for that either. I'm going to freehand some of this. So it's not going to be a recipe per se, but I always add turmeric, and I'm kind of adding extra turmeric in things. Typically, I add turmeric until the color's right, but turmeric's pretty good for us. So this is kala namak, or a sulfur-based salt. It has a little less sodium, so you can use more of it, but it makes it taste like eggs. If you do not use salt, it is perfectly fine. I'm going to put probably half a teaspoon of onion powder in there, and about the same, maybe even, did I say tablespoon? I meant teaspoon. And we'll put some garlic powder in there too. I'm going to add the nooch later. I'm going to start mixing this up. And one of the things, there's still some moisture in here, right? I want a harder spatula than that one, so that I can mix easily. And Brandy said she's not panicking, but she's preparing for the unknown. And it's good to get your pantry full, and it's perfectly fine. We are all experiencing something most of us have never been through, which is kind of a serious virus that's more serious than at least I grew up in. And I think it's normal for us to have these questions. One of the reasons I want to do lives is so that we have something to take our minds off of it. But, you know, some people are weathering this by themselves. So if you have someone older or at risk in your neighborhood, you can leave them a note saying, you know, if they need some help, to give you a call. And this is kind of my way. And Anita said they were out of tofu at my Costco yet. And yes, I do use black salt, Cindy. And that is also called kala namak. It's exactly the same thing. The funny story to me is that it's pink once you grind it, but the outside is black, which is why it's called black salt. Though I have a fancy smancy jar, which is the first time I had gotten it, I buy it at the Indian market and refill this. It's much cheaper. It's very cheap at the Indian market and very plentiful. And I have not gone out to the Hispanic, Indian, or Asian markets. They aren't bad places to check to see if there is still some supplies there, because the general population are not going there. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in here because I like pepper. And then we're making these tacos, right? So I'm going to put in some smoked paprika. And I'm eyeballing it. As you guys know, I'm going to taste this. Now here's some chili powders we could add. And you could add all different kinds of things. There is an Indian market in Durham, though I tend to go to the ones at Morrisville. I think there's one not far from Lee Ming's, the Asian market. And this has no salt, so I'm just being a little bit careful, and I'm going to put a little bit of cumin in here. So if you are scared to do what I'm doing, which is kind of hand measuring, that's okay. Start with like a 1/4 teaspoon or something like that. I'm going to turn this down some more. My love-hate relationship with this. And also, smell as you go. I'm having to keep this a little further away than I normally would, just because I want to show it under my overhead camera. So, and don't forget, the internet's still there. You can look up and see what things are around for sure. But I believe in Morrisville, certainly there are tons and tons of Indian markets. Okay, so now I'm going to put a lot of this in. And this is my mixture from yesterday. We'll put this much in for, it's probably 3 or 4 cups, I'd say by the eye. And what I'm going to do is mix it up. This is also a really good way to extend the meal. This is not going to be just, if we eat tacos, we're going to be eating this tomorrow too. And then Cheryl can just heat it up in the morning, right? And that will make things really good. And I think it can hold some more, and I think this pan can hold some more. This is also, so I could have let it give off, put in some water. Blah. Let's start again. I could have put in some extra water, but instead I'm putting all these veggies in. They're going to give some of that water as they're cooking. So that's another reason why I'm not feeling much of the need. Now this is enough to feed a lot of people. A lot more than just me and Cheryl. So, if you want to come over, let me know. No, Max is not good with strangers, or I would invite you all over for breakfast. Even my friends don't get to come over as much as I'd like. We have to do the Max rituals. He has a fit. We take him to meet people in the parking lot one by one. It's a very intensive process because poor Maxie is the best and the scaredest dog ever. So some of these pieces are bigger of the veggies because I didn't chop them up like I said I was going to. I just threw them in there. And so I'm just going to get those towards the bottom. And then basically all we're doing, just like anything else, I'm just going to keep going until this is heated up. This alone would be a great meal. And actually, let me taste a little bit. It tastes pretty good. I would like some more kala namak in there because I've got a lot of stuff in there now. So I may end up putting a teaspoon or more. And it doesn't need any more turmeric. I'm also going to put a little Mexican oregano in there. And I'm thinking what we might do is make like tofu rancheros tomorrow with some of this. I'd like to put in some more garlic and a little more onion. And what I love about this and having this mixture is that also then tonight we can put this in salads and make our salads. Now, since I know we're going to be eating at home more than normal, what I can do is I could actually make this and then freeze some of it, and we could heat it up as we needed it. So this is probably enough to feed us 4 times, depending on what I'm serving. If it's not just a plate of this, which is also just fine, I could serve this over rice. I could serve it in burritos, tacos. I could put it over home fries. And speaking of that, let me shake my home fries a little bit. And I'll let you see those. Ooh, they're actually way done. My little cut potatoes. Can you guys see those? They're going to be yummy. So I'm going to set these over here. I may have cooked them just a little extra. Yep. They're a little extra crunchy. But they will be fine. Sometimes good enough is okay, right? Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be amazing. I call what I've made here cheater food because I've done almost nothing. I don't really have to make any kind of effort to get this going. And so I'm gonna turn it up and see if I regret it or not. And it's also okay if the veggies don't cook all the way down. It just depends on how you want them, right? If you're okay with a little crunch, right now is good. It tastes really good. Tastes really, really good. I'm going to put just a little more chili powder in there too. Now we could also go Mediterranean, put a Mediterranean spice. I could have put some chili and lime. We could have squeezed lime juice in there. I could have gone a different direction and used like Trader Joe's mushroom stuff, mushroom blend. I guess stuff doesn't help. Sometimes I'll put kala namak and, oh, you guys can't see this at all. I'm sorry. And while this looks offensive, it's just the spices that go into a normal pork sausage. I make some of my own sausage blends. But don't forget, if you're not there yet, also if you're trying to make your own without salt, a lot of times I'll get some that smell right to me, and then I remake them at home. And that's what you guys get in my cookbooks and on the blogs and stuff. So it's good that they exist, because now we can make lentil rice sausage that tastes like sausage we remember growing up. And can you guys, I don't know if you can see that. There's some steam, and the steam is from the vegetables releasing some of that liquid that we were talking about. But I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see if you see it up there, because it's like right around in there. You can a little bit, but it's not easy to see. So, do you guys have any questions? I'm not sure what we're going to make next time. Oh, one more thing I wanted to tell. Two things. My goodness. It's time for Kathy's coffee. Okay. And I don't know if you can hear it sizzling a little bit. But while you're going to be at home and cooking probably more than you tend to, that's just some cabbage stuff, but it looked yucky, so I know Cheryl will pick it out. Okay, before I get myself turned around, nutritional yeast is a very important addition. And since we're about to be done, I am going to put a bunch in. Now, some of you prefer yours to not have vitamins in it, and that is great. I have no issues with you or your choices. If you use the ones that have B vitamins in it, we could all use all the vitamins we could get right now. So if we're getting lots of vitamins in with all this vegetable mix. We're adding some turmeric in there, we're adding some spices, we're adding some chilies, and all of that is going to help us be healthier. So where I was going, and now I know, is that we're going to be cooking more probably than we are used to, many of us. Many of you are uber good and you cook 3 meals a day and you're amazing, and I have nothing but the utmost respect. Those of us who've been kind of putting that off, you can cook big batch meals. So instead of cooking chili, 1 batch of chili, if your Instant Pot can hold 2 batches of chili, go ahead and freeze some of it. And that works for this whole situation when you can just go and grab and get something. If you're tired, if you're stressed out, if you don't feel good. Here, it's allergy seasons on top of everything. So it's spring colds, allergies. We're still having flu season in addition to dealing with this new virus, right? So when I say put some away in case you don't feel as good, I'm not necessarily saying, A, that you're going to get sick. or B, it's because of any one particular thing. I do know that my nose is running because things are blooming, and it's wonderful. It makes things better, but it also can then trigger a little more anxiety because of the time that we're living in. And one thing I recommend, there is a lot going on. And if you, like I noticed yesterday, well, 2 days ago, I stayed on the news too much. Don't do that. Don't be a Kathy. Limit your time. So I'm trying to let myself read some of the news in the morning and read some of the news in the evening. And while I am on Facebook, I'm trying to be a little more, look at more positive things than checking up on numbers and statistics and things like that. We will get announcements. If you're already kind of quarantining yourself at home, you know, you're already doing what you can do. If you are not, if you have to go out to work, if you have to do some other things, please remember there are older people who are at risk that are sick, so be very careful. Wash your hands all the time. Don't watch the news all the time. And that mom voice was at me as much as it was you, I promise. Okay, now here's one of my secret ninja tricks. First, let me taste this. So make big batches, put them aside so you don't have to feel like you have to be on constantly. Money. I got some little baby street tacos because whenever I eat them, it makes me feel like I'm eating out. And I like that. Let me turn that off. So I'm going to make some for Cheryl, right? So let me show you what I do. So this is hot and steaming. I just put my tortillas over here to soften them up a little bit. And then we'll make Cheryl some tortillas. I'm trying to think of what's the best thing to put these in. And this might be it. And Brandy said, I found a lot of awesome free resources online, museum, music, other things. I wish I saved the link I found in Twitter about the free ebooks. Oh, thank you for reminding me. If you have a library membership, you probably have access to a lot of free ebooks. I think it's Overtone, but I'm not sure. If you go to your library, get your library card because you're going to need to enter it in. There's also, I think is it Libby? And I'll try and double check, or if Brandy, you can double check and put in the comments, that would be helpful. So you can check books out of the library, ebooks. And you can also check out audiobooks. Audible has me trained, just like Kleenex does. So there's all this media you can get for free to have at home, and you can put books on hold and things like that. So I'm just touching these to see if they're warm enough. You want them to be, you could also, if you're making, let's say we had 10 people over. I could wrap these up in paper towels and put them in the microwave and let them steam, or steam them over a steamer a little bit. But this is the lazy way that I like to do it. And it just helps them not break. Actually, let me do this over here, okay? So what you're seeing, I see a lot of people have just come in. So this is Kathy's Tofu Scramble, made Mexican style. And we can put some salsa or things on there. Actually, I'm just going to lay them this way on a plate for her. And since she's been so sweet, I'm going to put it on her Hufflepuff plate. Yes, we have house plates. Yes, we are supposedly responsible adults. But you know what? Sometimes you got to get your fun where you can. Yeah, there's lots of free classics on Kindle. Anita says there's 2 library apps, Libby. Oh yeah, I was right about that one, and Hoopla. Hoopla has movies, music, and books. So there's tons of stuff you can do. And if you are not in a super crowded city, another thing you can do is take a walk. Like we live close to a state park. Now, my foot is in a little bit of a state right at this moment. So I will not be walking today, but I'm going to do some exercises. And if you go online and go to YouTube, you can find tons of stuff. So here's some tacos. Yeah, adulting is overrated. And so you can just pick these little puppies up. Now, we could add salsa, we could add lettuce, we could add tomatoes, we could add some sort of hemp sour cream. It's up to you. It's your taco. Live your best taco life is what I got to say to you, right? And look, that's 3 tacos gone, and almost nothing's gone here, right? It's probably 2 tablespoons. I'm overstuffing these tacos. I may just eat mine as is or put it over some rice, but this is just how easy it is. So 30 minutes of me telling you unknown amount of bizarre facts about food and spices and entertainment you can get in your house, and I still have these here. The only thing I did was I made my mix ahead of time, and I did my potatoes ahead of time, which perhaps was not my best guess, because it took less time than I thought it was going to take because I cut them in so much smaller pieces. Do you guys have any questions? So what we did today is we made some beautiful breakfast tacos. We used our Copycat Trader Joe's Cruciferous Crunch that we made yesterday, and again I will link to the side when I get off of here. And we still have way more of this, so probably tomorrow I will make something else with it. Yesterday I showed you how to make a Asian apple salad using it as the main component. This, we're using it as an addition, so there's so many different ways. That's why I'm not sure that it will take us longer than 5 days to go through the giant mass that we made, but we can also freeze it for cooking like this. So this is what I was saying. If you freeze some of this, cooking it is the way to go, because it's not going to have the same freshness and it wouldn't be as good in a plain salad. A warm salad, however, would be delicious. Okay, guys, I'm going to keep trying to come on and do something every day. It probably will be like this, a meal that we're going to eat. The recipes may or may not go up, so because these are kind of free form, but if you need some specific help, ask specific questions and I'll see if I've got it written out in one of my cookbooks, okay? I am thinking about you. I am rooting for you. We're all going to get through this. Do something good for yourself, even if it's just to sit and read your favorite book, have a cup of tea, take a nice long bath, take a walk if you can, if you live in a place that's okay. And just, enjoy the fact that we're getting a little bit of a reset. So we get to reset the kinds of food we eat, reset our movement, and we have a chance to kind of think about our mindset. Is there a reason that I'm eating healthier today than last week? And how can I continue moving that forward? Okay, you guys, it's a privilege to have you with me. If there's something you would like to see me make, I am making a list of those too, so over the next few weeks I will put those in, and I will also be just making on the fly delicious, yummy, healthy food. Okay? Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and stay healthy, eat well, and be kind.